Motivation in boxing. Imaginary and true. Why do people come to boxing? The answer to this question is endless, because no two people are the same. Nevertheless, let's try to make certain generalizations. They can be reduced to 2 points: imaginary and true motivation in boxing. To learn how to fight. Quite often people come to boxing with a simple and clear goal: to learn how to fight. Often they are pushed to this motivation by certain negative life experiences. Simply once they have got what they are called, at a disco, on the street, in a bar, and little elsewhere. And so the man decided to learn how to fight. Of course, a man must be able to stand up for himself and his loved ones, if necessary. But some are driven by an entirely different feeling, akin to a sense of revenge. In short, they want to become skilled in beating someone up and to beat him up themselves. To take revenge, so to speak. As a rule, these are deep-rooted people. They are losers both in work and in private life. They were not promoted above the middle managers, and even lower. They are pushed around by angry bosses. They are not valued at all. Relationships with women do not work out either. And now this type has decided to learn how to fight. Naturally, it is not positive. Moreover, it creates a potential danger. Experienced trainers are familiar with such examples. Someone comes and says, "I want to learn how to knock out with one punch." And then, gaining some confidence, he provokes a fight trying to assert himself in front of the weak at the same disco. As a rule, such a boxer meets rejection among his colleagues in the gym. After all, in the process of training, people understand who is in front of you. Those who came to train and to learn the basics of this difficult path, and then to follow it, reaching new heights, even if small, but victories. And who came to grasp the basics to learn how to fight. And at trainings they behave according to this program. Very often the rejection often leads to the fact that the above-mentioned fighters themselves quit boxing. In tune with themselves. Contrary case, a person has come to boxing because he has a genuine interest in this sport. He realizes that this way corresponds to his inclinations and promotes harmonious development both bodily and spiritual. What is the motivation for doing sports here? It is the pleasure of the process itself. It is also the expectation of results from hard systematic work. And the achievement of these results. It is the joy of victory. The bitterness of defeat. Yes, you can't do without them. When you win one victory after another, and do not know defeats, it's relaxing. There is a vertigo of success. In the process of training, physical activity becomes a habit, and a person cannot do without it. A great role in motivation is also played by a purely cognitive interest in boxing techniques, tactics, and strategies of this sport. A beginner boxer wants to get to know the sport from inside. The relationship with the coach plays the key role in motivation of boxing classes, which is established in the course of the first classes. Gradually a motive related to the desire to justify the hopes of your coach appears. The coach's division of pupils into favorites and non-favorites may play a negative role here. The unloved very often lose faith in their abilities and quit the sport, while the favorite develops a superficial attitude towards the sport. In this connection we would like to emphasize, in our boxing club we have never had, do not have, and will never have such a division. We do not organize, what is practiced in some clubs, pseudo-test for novices and beginners in order to show who is who. When against a dummy a more experienced fighter comes out and starts driving him around the ring. Very often the result of such a test is the termination of further training by the beginner. Sports psychologists distinguish two psychological types of athletes: collectivists and individualists. The first have the priority of the public over the personal. Boxers with this motivation set ambitious goals and strive to go from victory to victory. Individualists are guided more by motives of self-assertion, self-expression as a personality. They are characterized by an increased focus on the evaluation of their results. Athletes with social motivation in general show more enthusiasm for doing sports. Those who have personal prestigious motives dominate, more often show excessive concern for personal self-assertion, which leads to inadequate self-esteem, to emotional instability in the extreme conditions of competition. An experienced coach should subtly feel and consider these points in his work. Successful preparation of an athlete, directing him to achieve high results. His dedication is possible only with an optimal ratio of public and individual motives. Ignoring one or the other motive equally leads to zero results. These lines are addressed, of course, not only to coaches, but also to athletes in boxing. If a person gets up after a fall, it's not physics, it's character. Mike Tyson.